Good afternoon, everybody. Pigskin Pete here. Happy Thursday to everybody. What I want to do today is break down each conference division by division. And this will be a series of videos. I'm not going to make an hour-long video. Each video will be one division. Today, I'm going to start with the ACC, and I'm going to start with the Coastal Division. Let's see how good my memory is here, and I think it's pretty good. So the Coastal Division consists of Miami, Virginia Tech, Virginia, North Carolina, Duke, Georgia Tech, and Pitt. Now, if you want my opinion, there's only two teams in that division that can conceivably win that division and make it to Charlotte to most likely face Clemson. Those two teams are Miami and Virginia Tech. Both teams have a bird as a mascot. One that flies through hurricanes, and the other one we eat for Thanksgiving dinner. But first, let's eliminate the bottom dwellers and get rid of them. So Virginia is not going to do anything. Georgia Tech's not going to do anything. Ever. I did say that Duke would elevate themselves out of the bottom dweller status and maybe to the mid-level of that division. Still not going to win the conference. Let's see here. Pitt is not going to win the conference. However, they are capable of knocking people off. We've seen it 2 years in a row now. The pit of misery. 2 years ago, they beat Clemson. Last year, they beat Miami. Nonetheless, Pitt is not winning that division. North Carolina might have the most talent of the bottom dwellers in that division, but I don't see them competing with Virginia Tech or Miami. They should go back to that helmet design with a foot on the helmet that looks like it stepped in dog shit. Miami fans are already penciling themselves in, buying plane tickets to Charlotte to meet up with most likely Clemson in Charlotte for the ACC championship game. I'm here to say not so fast. This is not a knock on Miami by any means. Okay. Maybe it's a little bit of a knock. I just can't help myself. But Miami should stop thinking about Clemson and start worrying about Virginia Tech. But Pete, Virginia Tech, everyone said Virginia Tech was going to beat Miami last year, and they mopped up duty on Virginia Tech, destroyed them. Yeah, I remember. I was one of the people that said that Virginia Tech was going to win that game. And clearly, I cannot be trusted. I've been high on Justin Fuentes since he got hired there. When Frank Beamer left and they hired Justin Fuentes, I thought that is a great hire. And then when they were able to retain Bud Foster as the longtime defensive coordinator there, I thought this is the best of both worlds. You have a proven defensive coordinator and Bud Foster, and you've hired finally an offensive-minded head coach. So Justin Fuentes' first year as head coach at Virginia Tech, he went to the ACC championship game against Clemson. That was the year that Clemson won the national title. They almost beat Clemson in that game. Almost being the operative word there. Almost does not count in football. Last season, the shoe-in favorite to win that division again was Virginia Tech. And, of course, Miami ended up shocking everybody, having some really big, impressive wins throughout the regular season. Including over the Golden Homers. Including a win against Virginia Tech. So now everyone thinks that Miami is the dominant team in that division. I'm here to tell you, not so fast. Justin Fuentes will now be going into his third year there. And we get caught up in this thing year to year in college football where we think just because somebody did something last year that all of a sudden you're going to get the same result the next year. And that's just sort of this a human trait that we all possess that we can't think outside of the box. But let me be clear, I do belong in the box. But Justin Fuentes has the second best quarterback in the ACC behind Finley. And I'm not including Trevor Lawrence in this conversation because he hasn't started the game yet. And because I'm trying my best to be nice right now, which is very hard. I haven't looked at the schedule. I don't know the date that these two teams play each other, Miami and Virginia Tech. But I'm going to tell you right now, my opinion is the winner of that game will win that division. And winning that division is basically a participation trophy. And as long as Malik Rozier is the starting quarterback at Miami, that's what they have to fix. And all Miami fans know this. I'm not trolling Miami in any way when I'm saying this. Is that I think most Miami fans think that Malik Rozier should not start, and they should start Perry, who was a true freshman that was redshirted last year, and so now he'll be a redshirt freshman. If I'm a Miami fan,
Me, a Miami fan? That's a stretch.
you have nothing to lose by putting Perry in to start the season. The reason I say that is because, listen, would you rather go 11-1 in the regular season with Malik Rozier and then get curb stomped by Clemson and Charlotte again? Or would you rather go 10-2 with Perry and maybe actually have a shot and get some experience under his belt if they end up winning that division and beating somebody like Clemson and Charlotte again? Listen, the goal for Miami, if you're a Miami fan right now, is to win the ACC. You won the division last year. You don't want to win the division again and then get beat. If your goal is to compete with somebody like Clemson, you've got to get better quarterback play. If Malik Rozier meets Clemson again in Charlotte, Miami will lose again.
That's real talk.
If they have Perry, I can't say either way what's going to happen. You got nothing to lose is what I'm trying to say. The biggest problem I see on that Miami schedule outside of conference is that LSU game, the first game of the season in Texas.
Go Tigers!
So do you want to put Perry in for his first start against an LSU defense on the, not on the road, but outside of the state of Florida? Or do you want to put Malik Rozier in there and lose the game potentially because he's inept? That's a very tough question that I can't answer for you.
Wait, back up. I can't answer any questions, so that statement was pretty much pointless.
If it were me, I'd start Perry. Reason being, they could still potentially lose that game to LSU as long as they win at least the rest of their games in the ACC. They'll probably end up back in Charlotte. And a one-loss Miami team who wins the ACC could still get a playoff berth. Because despite that loss to LSU, you would still have multiple top 10 or 15 wins on your schedule.
Do us all a favor and just don't lose to LSU.
On your resume, rather, if you had beat Clemson, Virginia Tech, and possibly Florida State. If you start Malik Rozier and then he loses to LSU, then he potentially loses to Florida State, and then loses to Clemson and Charlotte, season over, bye-bye, Mark Richt will be chastised. And Miami fans, if I know one thing about them, are not patient people, and I don't blame them. They've been waiting a long time to win this conference.
And by a long time, I mean they haven't won it yet.
And get themselves back into the national title hunt. And you're not going to do it with Rozier. So I'm excited for that division, actually. Like I said, it's the weaker of the two divisions in the ACC, but it's a very intriguing division. Miami's schedule is intriguing in itself. And I am a big believer in Fuentes. If Fuentes craps the bed this year in his third year there, I may give him one more year. But I will eventually jump off that Fuente train if he doesn't start making some noise soon. So if you're Virginia Tech, you've got to take care of Miami. If you're Miami, you've got to not look past Virginia Tech and start looking towards the ACC championship game. Get your quarterback situation straightened out, and then we'll see what happens. I will be covering this matchup between Virginia Tech and Miami for the weeks and months to come. Stay tuned. Have a great day. Pigskin Pete checking out.